Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about an incredibly important day that's coming up, World Book and Copyright Day. Now, for those of you who may not know, World Book and Copyright Day are celebrated every year on April 23rd. It was first established by UNESCO in 1995 to promote reading, publishing, and the protection of intellectual property through copyright laws. In honor of this special day, I've put together a list of 30 quick one-line facts about books and copyright that you may not have known before. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. 1. The first book ever printed was the Gutenberg Bible in 1455. 2. The most expensive book ever sold was a handwritten copy of Leonardo da Vinci's Codex Leicester, which sold for $30.8 million in 1994. 3. The longest book ever written is Artemène ou le Grand Cyrus by French writer Madeleine de Scudéry, which contains over 2 million words. 4. The most translated book in the world is the Bible, which has been translated into over 2,000 languages. 5. Copyright laws were first introduced in England in 1710 with the Statute of Anne. 6. The term public domain refers to works that are no longer protected by copyright and can be used freely by anyone. 7. The first copyright law in the United States was the Copyright Act of 1790. 8. In the U.S., copyright protection lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years. 9. The Berne Convention is an international treaty that governs copyright law and was first signed in 1886. 10. The symbol copyright is used to indicate that a work is protected by copyright. 11. Fair use is a legal doctrine that allows limited use of copyrighted material without the author's permission for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. 12. Plagiarism is the act of using someone else's work without giving proper credit. 13. Creative Commons licenses allow authors to share their work with certain restrictions, such as requiring attribution or prohibiting commercial use. 14. The first book ever printed in America was the Bay Psalm Book, printed in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1640. 15. The first copyright law in Canada was the Copyright Act of 1832. 16. In the U.S., works created by the federal government are not eligible for copyright protection. 17. The first book ever printed in Africa was the Gospel of Matthew, printed in Ethiopia in the 15th century. 18. The first book ever printed in Asia was the Diamond Sutra, printed in China in 868 AD. 19. The first book ever printed in Australia was The Sydney Gazette and New South Wales Advertiser in 1803. 20. The first book ever printed in Antarctica was The Antarctic Book of Cooking and Cleaning in 2003. 21. The oldest known book in the world is the Diamond Sutra, a Buddhist text printed in China in 868 AD. 22. The first book ever printed in Arabic was Kitab al-Majmu fi al-Tib, the Compendium of Medicine, printed in Italy in 1593. 23. The first book ever printed in Hebrew was the Hebrew Pentateuch, printed in Italy in 1475. 24. The first book ever printed in Hindi was Doctrina Christiana in 1578. 25. The first book ever printed in Japanese was a Buddhist text called the Hyakumanto Dharani in 770 AD. 26. The first book ever printed in Russian was The Apostle in 1564. 27. The first book ever printed in Spanish was the Nebria Grammar in 1492. 28. The first book ever printed in Portuguese was Constituicos do Arcebispado da Bahia in 1706. 29. The first book ever printed in Turkish was a Turkish-Arabic dictionary called Vocabularium Turcico-Arabicum in 1530. 30. The first book ever printed in Korean was a Buddhist text called the Jikji in 1377. Wow, there were some really interesting facts in there, weren't there? I hope you guys learned something new today. And on that note, I just wanted to take a moment to remind you all about the importance of reading and protecting intellectual property through copyright laws. Books and other forms of creative expression play a vital role in our world, and it's up to all of us to ensure that they're properly recognized and protected. So, if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching.